You don't just stroll into Toronto, perform Not Like Us, and expect it to be a normal night. That's not how this works. That's not how it's ever worked. But Kendrick Lamar, he didn't just stroll in. He strutted through the 6 like he owned the damn place. And the wildest part? Nobody stopped him. No boos. No awkward silence. No Drake fans throwing tomatoes from the balcony. Just pure eruption. You would think it was Compton in there. But no, it was Drake's house, and the crowd gave Kendrick the keys. Now let's be honest here. This wasn't just a tour stop. This was a statement. This was Kendrick Lamar walking into enemy territory and dropping a sonic nuke, and people are calling it just a performance? Nah, this was premeditated, this was strategic, and this was the spark that lit the fuse, because the second Kendrick set foot on that stage, the game changed. So the question isn't what happened that night. The question is, why did this even happen in the first place? Because if certain whispers are true, this show was never supposed to happen at all. Be sure to like and subscribe before we dive in. And now with that said, Toronto wasn't supposed to rock with him, but they did. Let's get one thing straight. Toronto is Drake's city, or at least it was. This is the same city that's had his back through every mixtape, every scandal, every beef. From comeback season to OVO Fest, the 6 has always been his safe zone. So when Kendrick pulled up with Not Like Us, in that city, in that arena, in that moment, the last thing anyone expected was for the crowd to erupt. But they didn't just cheer, they screamed, word for word, bar for bar, as if they hadn't been blasting views on repeat for the past decade. And the energy, it wasn't confused, it was charged. Like Toronto had been waiting to turn on their king the whole time. Like this wasn't betrayal, this was liberation. And that's the part that shook people, because this wasn't supposed to happen. Not in a million timelines, not in a city built around Drake's legacy, but it did. And if you think that didn't send shockwaves straight through OVO headquarters, think again. Because the one thing more dangerous than an enemy is a hometown crowd that suddenly feels like they don't owe you loyalty anymore. So now with all that said, did Drake try to stop it before it happened? According to whispers, and yes, real industry whispers, not just Twitter noise, there were moves made behind the scenes to keep this show from ever happening. And who do those whispers point to? You guessed it, Drake. Word is, someone in the camp was trying to pull strings with promoters, venue execs, maybe even city officials. Not publicly, of course. That would be too obvious. But privately, quiet calls, quiet pressure, quiet panic. Because let's be honest, Kendrick performing that song in this city was never just a concert. It was PR warfare, reputation damage. And if you're Drake, who's still trying to spin this beef as overblown or irrelevant, the last thing you want is a viral moment of your entire city losing their minds to your biggest opponent. So did Drake try to stop it? Depends on who you ask. Some say yes, and that's why ticket confirmation took longer than usual. Some say it's a coincidence. But in this game, coincidences rarely exist, especially when billion-dollar brands are on the line. So the better question is, if he did try to stop it, why didn't it work? What really happened with the permits and promoters? Here's where the story shifts from rumors to receipts. Because while fans were busy debating lyrics and diss tracks, something strange was happening on the business side. According to local insiders and tour staff chatter, Kendrick's Toronto date almost didn't happen. Not because of ticket sales, those were instant. Not because of Kendrick, he was ready. The issue? Permits, paperwork, approvals. Word is, the venue was dragging its feet. Promoters were hesitant. Even some backstage logistics like vendor access and media clearances hit sudden unexpected snags. Sounds familiar? It should. Because when a city usually rolls out the red carpet for superstars, and then suddenly throws red tape at a Kendrick Lamar show, someone's pulling levers. Now nobody's naming names on record, but let's just say the finger pointing always loops back to one question: who benefits from shutting it down? Drake didn't have to say a word publicly. All it takes is one quiet conversation with the right executive, one raised eyebrow, one "are we sure this is a good look for the city?" And boom, delay, denial, disruption. But Kendrick's team, they pushed through. They forced it to happen, and the resistance only made them hungrier. So now with that said, if Drake really did try to shut it down, this might go down as the biggest backfire of his entire career. Because not only did the show go on, it turned into the most iconic moment of Kendrick's tour. Think about that. You allegedly try to block your rival from stepping into your home turf, and instead, he turns your backyard into his victory lap. That's not just failure, that's poetic justice. And here's the part that really stings. The attempt to stop the show only amplified it. The delay, the red tape, the whispers, it gave Kendrick momentum before he even hit the stage. Fans weren't just excited, they were fired up. They felt like they were part of something forbidden, and when that beat dropped for Not Like Us, that wasn't a song anymore. That was rebellion. That was Kendrick flipping the system on its head and daring anyone to stop him. What was supposed to be sabotage turned into a spotlight. What was meant to silence him only made him louder. And in the court of public opinion, Drake didn't just lose the battle. He handed Kendrick the mic. And Kendrick, he didn't just perform, he made a statement. This wasn't just a rap show, this was warfare in rhythm. From the second Kendrick walked on that stage, he wasn't there to entertain. He was there to etch a message into Toronto's skyline. The visuals, ruthless. The energy, controlled chaos. And when that DJ spun the opening keys to Not Like Us, the arena transformed. Kendrick didn't just perform the diss, he weaponized it. Every bounce, every lyric, every smug grin was calculated. He wasn't asking for the crowd's approval, he demanded it. And Toronto, they gave it to him. Loud, unapologetic, unified. But it wasn't just the song, it was the posture, the confidence, the silence between bars. Kendrick knew exactly where he was. This was enemy territory, but he made it look like a hometown celebration, like he was the one being honored, and the message was loud and clear. I'm not just beating you in this beef, I'm standing in your house, and your people are cheering for me. That kind of dominance doesn't come from lyrics alone, that's presence, that's performance as protest. And for Drake, watching all of that unfold without being able to stop it, that's a loss. Words can't clean up. So let's talk about Drake's silence. Was it tactical, or was it a sign of defeat? Because in the world of rap beefs, silence isn't neutral, it's loud. And Drake, he's been silent as a ghost pepper. No posts, no cryptic bars, no subtle jabs in a live stream, just nothing. And for a guy who built his brand on responding to everything, trust, that's not normal. So what's really going on here? Is this some masterclass in restraint? A strategic let it blow over move? Or is this what losing sounds like when you've got nothing left to say? Because let's be real, if Kendrick had flopped in Toronto, if the crowd was dead or the moment fell flat, Drake would have already tweeted a laughing emoji and dropped a freestyle. But the fact that he didn't, that says more than any bar could. His silence isn't power, it feels like damage control, like someone backstage yelling, "Don't feed the fire." But here's the twist, by staying quiet, he's letting the narrative build without him. Kendrick's performance is being replayed, retweeted, remixed, and Drake's name is attached to all of it by default. So is this strategy, or surrender dressed up as maturity? Either way, the silence is deafening. Now, how is the industry reacting behind closed doors? Behind the velvet curtains and platinum plaques, the industry is watching this unfold like it's the Super Bowl of rap. And trust, they're not just watching, they're calculating. Because when someone like Kendrick walks into the hometown of hip-hop's most commercially dominant artist and gets that kind of response, executives notice, brand managers notice, sponsors notice. The same people who once saw Drake as the safest bet in rap are now whispering about market shifts. Suddenly, Kendrick doesn't just look like an artist, he looks like a movement. Labels are quietly reevaluating feature placements. Festival promoters are shifting headline priorities. Even artists who once sat comfortably on the fence, they're picking sides subtly. You'll notice who reposted clips from that Toronto show. You'll notice who suddenly stopped liking OVO-related posts. Loyalty in this industry is built on relevance, and Kendrick just made himself the most relevant voice in the room. Meanwhile, Drake's silence is creating a vacuum, and the vultures are circling, because in music, momentum is currency, and right now, Kendrick's holding all of it. So while fans argue on timelines, the industry is making moves, quiet ones, calculated ones, and they're not all in Drake's favor. Now the real battle wasn't on stage, it was for Toronto. This was never just about bars, beats, or billboard placements. This was about territory, about claiming ground. And Kendrick didn't just go after Drake, he went after the heart of Drake's empire, Toronto, the city that crowned him. The city that built him. And in one night, Kendrick flipped it. What we witnessed wasn't just a performance, it was a takeover, a hostile one. Because when you walk into your rival city, perform the most disrespectful diss track of the decade, and have that crowd chanting every word like it's the national anthem, that's not music, that's psychological warfare. Kendrick didn't just beat Drake at home, he made the home team question who they're really riding for. The optics alone were devastating. No amount of Spotify banners or Apple Music algorithms can spin that. Because now, every time someone says Toronto, it comes with an asterisk. And for Drake, that's dangerous. His brand isn't just built on hits, it's built on hometown dominance. OVO is Toronto, or at least it was. But after Kendrick's invasion, that crown's looking real shaky. And if you lose the city that made you, what do you really have left? So with all this said, what happens now? And why could this just be the beginning? The dust has settled, but the tension? It's thicker than ever, because this wasn't a finale, this was a warning shot. And the craziest part? Kendrick hasn't even responded to the silence, because he doesn't have to. His presence was the response, his performance was the retaliation, and now all eyes are on Drake. Will he fire back? Will he drop a last-ditch track to reclaim his throne? Or will he keep ducking, hoping this moment fades with the next news cycle? Either way, the damage is done. Kendrick exposed something deeper, that the empire isn't as untouchable as it once seemed. The control Drake had over the narrative, the city, the culture, it's slipping. And Kendrick, he's not just taking victory laps, he's rewriting the rules. We're watching a shift happen in real time, and this might just be Act 1. Because if Kendrick keeps applying pressure and Drake keeps falling back, we're looking at the kind of power transfer the rap game hasn't seen in over a decade. So let me ask you this, is this the end of Drake's dominance? Or the rise of something way bigger than just a beef? Let me know in the comments. And if you made it this far, like and subscribe for more, because this story, it's far from over.